PTE writing Summarise written text is the first task of the writing section, and the total time for the writing section takes more than 30 minutes. So you can imagine that this task is very crucial for your writing score. So allow me, Anurag, your PTE buddy at Edutrainex, to give you the key tips and templates in this video that can guarantee a 90 out of 90 score in Summarise written text task. We will also do a complete X-ray analysis of this task, including the scoring, examples, full strategy, and easy templates for everyone's use. Again, since this is a writing task, so it is very important that you get your writing assessed by a PTE expert like us to guide you accurately and how you can improve on your mistakes. So continue watching and keep learning, and your success will be assured. Overview. For the Summarise written text task, you are given a reading text and you need to make a single sentence out of which is between 5 and 75 words. It is the first task of the writing section, and it assesses both your reading as well as writing skills. The reading text itself is around 300 words, and this task tests how capable you are in reading a big piece of work and then summarizing it into one sentence. You get between 1 or 2 questions in the exam, and you don't need to worry about managing your time for this question because there is an allocated time of 10 minutes per question. Now, I'll show you the layout and the structure of how this task looks in the actual test. So this is how you see the Summarise written text questions in the test. On the top, you can see the instructions, which tells you that you need to summarize the text in one sentence and also tells you about the time. Just below that, you see the reading text that you need to read and summarize. And below the reading text, you have the writing space where you need to type your response. You also have the facility of cut, copy, paste buttons, as you can't use the mouse that you normally do. And you also can't use the keyboard shortcuts. Right below that, you can also see the total word count, which is a key indicator of how many words you have written. And lastly, on the top right side corner, you can see the countdown timer, which means that it starts with 10 minutes and ends on 0. So please make sure that you use the entire time wisely, as saving time on this question will not add any time to the next question. Now, understanding the scoring is an essential part of Summarise written text, which will allow you to identify the requirements to solve this task perfectly. Scoring. A key point to note here is that you need to make a single sentence which is complex or compound in nature. So you need to add a main clause and some supporting details. If you don't know what a complex or compound sentence is, it is a sentence that has a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses are added to it using conjunctions. Let's now look into how this question is scored. There are 4 areas that you are scored in this task. Number 1 is content. So you get full points, which is 2 points, if you cover all the relevant aspects given in the text. Mind it, this doesn't mean that you have to put everything that is mentioned in the reading text into one single sentence. This is a big misunderstanding that many people fail to identify. You still need to focus on the key or the main idea and include only some supporting details. The key here is to ignore the details. Next is form, which counts the number of words in your response. You get 1 point if your response is between 5 and 75 words, and 0 if it is less than 5 words or more than 75 words. So please make sure that your response never exceeds the 75 word mark. You are also assessed for your grammar skills in this question type, and you get full marks, which is 2 points, if you get everything grammatically correct. If you have 1 or 2 grammatical errors in your response, you still get 1 point. But if you exceed that and make more than 2 grammatical mistakes, then you get 0 points for grammar. And lastly, your response is also assessed for mastery on vocabulary skills. If you use appropriate choice of words in your response, you get full 2 points. 1 point for the usage of only some appropriate words and 0 for irrelevant words. Please note that this criteria doesn't mean that you need to use complex or difficult words, just the ones that are appropriate and relevant. The next step in Summarize Written Text task is to prepare a strategy. How would you use the allocated 10 minutes of your time to your full advantage? The solution is to divide your time prudentially. I would say you should follow a plan something similar to what I have shown on the screen. But never put all the time in just writing. As you can see on the screen, the first few minutes, around 2 to 3 minutes, should be spent on reading. Skim read it and then deep read it. The next 4 to 5 minutes should be actually spent on writing. And we are going to cover the structure and the templates shortly. The last 1 to 2 minutes should be kept aside for proofreading. Read what you have written and find if there are any spelling, punctuation, or grammar mistakes, and use this time to fix them. This step is equally important. So, let's start with the step number 1. How I do this task is I quickly read the overall paragraph, not more than a minute, more like a fast or skim reading, and just get an idea of what the text is all about. So take a minute and go through the given text starting now. So now that you know a little bit about of what is discussed, you should then deep read the text, which is step number 2. Thoroughly read the text. Still, don't take too much time to understand each and everything. While reading, you may also like to take some notes of whatever is important in the text. Since you have already done the skim reading, this time your reading will be faster. Remember, you can also choose to combine the step number 1 and 2 together to read and note down at the same time. Practice and see how you are doing better. Different people have different approaches. So take 2 minutes now and see what you understand from the text, and if you are able to note down the important keywords. What is shown highlighted on the screen are the important keywords, and you don't need to note down everything. So I'll pause here for another minute, but actually you should take 2 minutes to prepare yourself for deep reading. So let's start the 1 minute now. Great. With whatever you were able to note down, see the step 3, which is very important. Now, we need to convert these noted keywords into a sentence. And what you need to ask yourself is, what is the main idea here? Don't bother about the details, ignore them completely. What is the main idea? How can I explain this in a concise manner in one sentence to someone else? So these are the questions that you need to think about. And also, don't try to use your own knowledge on the given topic, even if you know a lot of things about it. So never use any information that is not given in the text. Next, you should have a decent knowledge of using conjunctions. If you remember, I told you in the beginning that you need to create a complex sentence here, as this is the PTE's requirement. So words like and, but, though, however, not only, but also should definitely be used to make a complex sentence. And to avoid just copy pasting from what is given in the text, try to paraphrase a little. Make your own sentences even better. Say something, but in a different way, which is called as paraphrasing. And lastly, I also recommend limit your response in the range of 30 to 45 words. Because the longer you make your sentences, you are more prone to make grammatical mistakes. I have given the PTE test myself a number of times and never ever I have written more than 35 words. And every time I got 90 out of 90 in writing. So don't think that writing less words will get you less marks. Trust me. Or give a mock test of PTE yourself and you will find out what I just said is 100% accurate. Now, I'm going to use whatever keywords and phrases I noted earlier and make it into a sentence. While writing, I felt that I noted a little bit more, so I'm just ignoring the details in the third point and only use it partially. So my sentence is, conventional rocket engines use a lot of machinery to burn propellant and a lot of fuel to launch rockets into space, but a new type of engine called as rotating detonation engine uses rapid heat and shock waves and is more fuel efficient, lightweight and simple. So the word count is 46 words. So you should stop here and just check your grammatical and punctuation and you are done. But what I think is I have added a little bit more. So I'm going to trim that out of my response and fix my grammar and punctuation and spelling mistakes, as I want my response to contain the main idea in terms of the main clause and a supporting clause. So in step 4, in the last couple of minutes, I used to refine and edit my response. So I further simplified the sentence. See on the screen which points I have crossed out. And now my final response is crispy and concise. Conventional rocket engines are complex and use high amount of fuel to launch rockets into space. But newly developed rotating detonation engines are simpler, lightweight, and more fuel efficient. You can see that I have used but to make my sentence complex. So in the main clause, I discussed the problem, what's the issue with the conventional engine, and in the subordinate clause, I discussed a solution, how the new engines solve those problems. So normally this approach works for most of the summarized written text questions. You could have also used although in the beginning and then removed the but in the middle of the sentence. So you're still saying the same thing. So work out a style that fits your writing style and follow that every time. Now my final word count is 29, but this response will still get me 90 out of 90 guaranteed. Even the first response that we came up with had 46 words. Just fixing the punctuation, grammar, and spelling can also get you to a 90 score. Let's do another practice question, which is another example shown on the screen. So, step number 1, take a minute to skim read the given text. And the time starts now. So, hope you got a fair idea. Now, let's move on to step number 2, which is deep reading, and note the few important keywords and phrases. So, ideally, you should take more than 1 minute, which is around 2 minutes. But in this case, we are just pausing for 1 minute. So, let's start the time now. I hope you noted the important things that you needed to. Now, let's move to step number 3. Time to write your first draft of the response. Again, I'm just pausing here for a minute, but you should take up to 4 or 5 minutes to write your response. So, if you are actually attempting this question, pause the video for 4 to 5 minutes and then write your response. 1 minute starting now. Hope you are ready with your draft. See what I have written here. Nanoplastics, which are present in most living things, collect very quickly in the body of creatures via food and water and accumulate there quickly. Though most of it moves out of the body after exposure to clear water, bigger nanoparticles still remain in the body after several weeks. And the word count is 48 words. So, I move on to the next step, which is step number 4, and I will work on refining my response and also fix any grammatical, spelling, or punctuation mistakes. Take a minute or two and fix the grammatical mistakes or other mistakes that you may have. I'm just pausing here for 30 seconds. Hope you had a go in refining your response. Now let me elaborate what I did here. You can see how I have paraphrased certain things here, like collect in the body to get passed on to the body, accumulate to collect, move out of the body to flushed out, bigger to large, and several weeks to a long time. So this is how I have paraphrased my response. So in my initial draft, I used words directly from the text, but later, while refining, I used synonyms and paraphrased many things. Also, I cut down more details. So my final response is nanoplastics get passed on to the bodies of the living beings, collect there quickly, and though most of it can be flushed out after exposure to clear water, larger nanoparticles still remain in the body for a long time. That's it. So the word count is 39 words. Now before going to the templates, I have already covered all the steps that you need in the super strategy to crack this task perfectly. So before I move forward, I just want to show you the amazing features that the Edutrainex application provides for PTE learning and how it helps you at every step to clear the exam. Excellent. So you now know how helpful our PTE preparation software is. Not only you get the graphical performance indicators for each of the tasks, but our Intelli-assistant also monitors your performance and time management and suggests you personalized tips at real time. It also tells the tutors if someone is really struggling with a particular task. So intelligent. Okay, now moving to the templates. I know many test takers need a little push to help them succeed. And using the templates is exactly going to do that. So, the template shown on the screen has been designed for you to fit the keywords and key phrases into it. Firstly, you still need to note down the main idea of the given text. Then, you also need to note down some important keywords and or phrases. Once you have done that, you can use the template to form your response. For this template to succeed, your grasp of the main idea and the important keywords or key phrases are equally important. So, the Summarise written text template here uses a well-developed structure and it is elaborated over here. The first part of the template, which says the text provides information about, introduces the sentence. You need to add the central idea after this to ascertain that you understood the passage well. The second part is which suggests that, which makes the sentence complex. That has been cleverly inserted to add the subordinate clause. Once you have added the main and the subordinate clause, you can further elaborate by adding the third part, which is furthermore the distinctive aspects of and or the fourth part, which is however, moreover, the importance of, so on. So remember, you may choose to modify the template as you feel comfortable. But if you stick to this template, you will be sure to add more than enough information that the Summarise written text paragraph into one single sentence, which is a complex sentence. And don't forget to ignore the details when you note down the keywords and phrases. Also, try to note down smaller phrases from the paragraph of around 5 to 6 keywords. This will help you to keep the grammatical errors to a minimum. So, I'm using the same passage as we did earlier, and you can see which was about the engines. Step 1 for using the template is to find out the central idea or the main idea of the passage. In this case, it is the difference or comparison between the conventional and the rotating detonation engines. Step 2 is to note down the keywords or the key phrases. So, I have noted a few things about the conventional engine, how they are complex and consume more fuel, and also a few things about the new engine, like the lightweight, fuel efficient, and etc. I have also noted how these two engines generate thrust. So, step 3 is to use the template and put your keywords there and formulate your first draft. See the sample answer here. The text provides information about the differences between the conventional rocket engines and rotating detonation engines, which suggests that conventional engines' complexity and high fuel consumption are essential features. Furthermore, the distinctive aspects of the new engine, its stability, fuel efficiency, as well as lightweightedness, are outlined. Moreover, the importance of burning propellants to create thrust or using heat and shock waves to create high pressure could not be overemphasized. So, the word count is 69 words, which is again within the limit specified by the PTE. As you can see, you still need to fit the correct word type, which means that you still need to fit the words in a proper grammatical format such as nouns, verbs, adjectives as required as per the template. So, even if you use the template, you still need to take care of the grammar and spelling. And this template can easily get you to a high score. Now, the next template that I am going to show you is not something I would recommend, but I know that some test takers are really struggling with their writing skills or they don't have enough time or guidance to improve on them. So this template relies on copy and pasting from the given text, which is why it won't get you to a very high score. Now see the template which says sentence 1 from passage 1, sentence 2 from passage 2, and sentence 3 from passage 3 or 4 have been used. Conjunctions like and but are used here to combine this together. If there is already a conjunction word at the beginning of the sentence, you just use it once. Please note that doing this will fetch you a score of about 40, but why I have shown here the score range of 40 to 60 is because if you are able to use synonyms or paraphrase a little bit, that will show that you have writing skills and the PTE algorithm will mark you higher. The more you can do this using this template, your score will improve. But at the same time, watch out for grammar and spelling mistakes. So let's see what the sentence 1, 2, and 3 are, and here is my response. Word count is again 69 words. Hey, if you want to copy paste these templates for your reference, these are also available on our blog and the blog link is mentioned in the description. So I'm not going to read the sentence that is given on the screen. I will just like to summarize what we have discussed until now as part of the super strategy with all the steps listed on one page. Use the strategy to practice a lot of questions and get feedbacks on your responses to improve. Note it down or take a screenshot. And lastly, have a read at some of the important frequently asked questions about this task. Great job! Now it gives me immense pleasure that you now know all the specifics about the Summarise written text task, along with the complete idea of how to attempt this task. I'm sure you like this video and I would recommend you start practicing and get feedbacks. Please support us by liking this video, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel. Good luck with your PTE preparation.